Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is episode 10 of the Let Me Introduce You podcast. I am Jen. This is Adarian. And
Hey,
we are talking about the injury gods. That was Adarian's title. I subtitled it Injury, Exercise, and Performance. The conundrum.
why you try to throw me under the bus from get go? I mean, it's the reason it's injury gods is because we have folks out there um, that are preaching they can prevent injuries. That's like people prevention. They can fountain of youth. That I can cure every disease under the world and everything like that. And so you get to this thing where they wait until somebody gets hurt and then they go, I told you. And you go, you know, I did this a million times.
Yes.
So you were wrong 1 million times. And now you're trying to be right for one time? Like the odds are against you. But we see it all the time, about, poor mechanics or poor this or poor that. And these folks come out just like, I got this, I could have prevented that. No, you couldn't have.
Right.
Because you don't know why it happened in the first place. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you think about even with movement, how we're still trying to understand movement. So if we don't fully understand movement, how can you understand what caused an injury?
Well, you can't, I don't think. And
So
the
let's
data
not even
is
say,
actually, what's that?
let's not even say I think. Let's just go we know. I'm gonna say I know. I know a side, I know what you like. I know a side. Okay, that's cool. But I'm saying I know these dudes can't predict injuries. If they could, they wouldn't be happening. That's like the psychic hotline, you know? Why
True.
if you psychic, but you don't know I'm calling you? You don't know why I'm calling you? Why'd you call? You the psychic, but you don't know why I'm calling you or what I'm calling you about.
Now that you put it that way, it's not very good marketing.
It's outstanding marketing because the psychic people making money off the psychic hotline. I got a warm feeling in my knee. That means that I'm going to church Sunday. Yeah. You're going to church on Sunday. How'd you know? You just told me.
Before we dive into this too far, I figured we should look at some statistics because statistics are good, right? So in 2019, 39% of adults had low back pain, 36.5% had lower limb pain, and 30.7% had upper limb pain over a 3-month period.
Yeah.
The bulk of those people that had that pain were age 65 or older.
Yeah.
So just so we're all on the same page. And then there were other things that contributed to like low back pain, like people who had low socioeconomic status were much more likely to have low back pain than people who didn't.
Yeah, so, they're working too hard.
They're working too hard. And just again, for point of reference, 16.8% of the US population is 65 or older.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, it's like dying, 300 million people, 2 million are going to die. What are the odds? And of that 2 million, 48,000 die by gun death. What are the odds?
Right. So then let's look at some stats from athletics, because, so we've got the general population, so we just talked about. In baseball, there was this big longitudinal study that was done from I think it was years 2007 to 2019. So in baseball,
when you say longitudinal, you got to tell people it's over a long term.
I can't just use the word.
That's a crazy. Like you use that word, it just means over a long period.
Over a long period of time. So in baseball, what they found was 4.69 players per 100 had a low back injury. 3.84 out of 100 had a hamstring injury. 3.45 out of 100 had a knee injury, and 3.43 had a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to me because you think of baseball with all the throwing, but I guess the only one that's throwing a ton is actually the pitcher.
Well, let's look at it two ways. Pitcher and the catcher.
Right.
And look at all those programs out there people are using to sell healthy shoulders.
Targeting baseball.
Yeah. And these guys throw a ton, and then you say, okay, well, let's look at it this way. A pitcher is warm
Right.
because he's active. A catcher is warm because he's throwing back and forth.
Oh, good point.
The outfielder get a ball and got to rifle it down home. He ain't warmed up anymore.
Right.
He has no problems.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day, and the guy, he was throwing a ball, and his arm was totally sideways when he let that ball. It was not close to what
Optimal mechanics.
When these guys throw, they throw to get the job done.
Right.
Whatever that takes, that's what they do. But I think once again, people don't understand how resilient the body is to help you accomplish your task. There's protection built in already.
Right.
You know, but think about that the one they should study is the outfielder, who has been doing nothing, then all of a sudden ball comes, guys run, I got to throw them out, rifle it home, no problem at all.
Good point.
You know, the pitcher, like, yeah, that's be pitch. Of course, if you do something 1,000 times, something's gonna go bad. You know,
well, you're right. Your chances go up, right? Because you're doing a lot of it. So, like, you know.
Yeah, you're doing a lot, like anything else. The more you drive, the more chances are what? You might get in an accident.
Yeah.
The more you eat, the more chance of what? You might swallow, you might choke on something. It's just the
totally.
more you do it, the odds go.
True.
You know, which is why when you buy car insurance, what do they gauge you on? How many miles are you gonna drive a year? Because they know what? The more miles you drive, the chances are they got to pay out a claim on you. So they charge you more.
Right.
You
but
know?
that's not how like any of these fitness gurus are looking at it.
No, they're injury gods. They're not fitness gurus. Injury gods.
Injury gods. Well, we're gonna look at two more sports with the same data. So now we have basketball. Now the basketball guys are not faring as well as the baseball guys. 13.82 out of 100 have an ankle injury. 13.37 out of 100 have a knee, and 6.77 out of 100 have a back.
Yeah,
but they're also playing more minutes per game than the baseball players.
Well, not only that, you ever see a guy when he dunks and falls on the floor?
Oh yeah,
they get knocked down. they get knocked down. That's you get knocked down, you get twisted, you get bumped in the air, they bump in the knees, they step on somebody's foot, twist their ankle. They're not playing in bubbles.
True. That's an old school song, Chumbawamba. You get knocked down, you get back up again.
They do it, but they collide each other with like they're not slowing down.
Right.
You know, you're fouling people, you're hacking people, you're hanging on people. You know, you're contorting yourself while in the air. You know, that's what they don't. It's amazing they don't get hurt more, because you know, we think about the volleyball thing I was going to send you, how she's using her leg to anchor herself, so the arm has something to put this. Because we talk about this energy, where is it going? Well, it's going to go to the ball, but what's the extra going? Well, it's going to her leg as it braces for this thing. So a lot of times with basketball players, they don't have that option. They're in the air free, you know, things are.
Yeah.
So yeah, but once again, you know, you have people out there, as soon as they, you know, sprain an ankle, I got this ankle prevention program.
Yes. And again, it's still a relatively small percentage. We have 13% of players are likely to have this injury incidence.
Yeah. But what are people told though? If all you're seeing is injury, you know.
Right.
When's the last time we heard about a player like he didn't miss a game this year?
Well, that's what I always go looking for. I'm like, who are the people that aren't getting hurt? Because now I'm curious, right? Because all you hear about is the ones that are getting injured.
Right. Well, that's like in the running business. Who's giving out injury prevention advice? People that are hurt.
It's true.
It's the most crazy. Like, don't you think you might want to talk to a person that's not hurt?
Well, and you look at someone like Kipchoge, who's, I believe he's 38.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Maybe he's 39. And he's been running professionally for years.
Yeah.
At a very high level.
Right.
And have you ever heard of an injury issue?
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, you want to hear something interesting? This is the interesting part here. Because I was collecting data, and this is not a longitudinal study. It's just, you know, it's just n of one at my house.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So, but it's collecting data. It's collecting, you know, body weight data and everything. On the faster run, the body weight was low. So on the faster run, the body weight indicator was 3.3 times my body weight. On the slower run, it was 4.4.
Whoa. Less input.
So not really less input in a sense, because gravity's gravity still.
Right.
But probably what's happening is, and also too, taking more steps.
Hmm. Right.
So the time in between is different. You don't have as, so that becomes, but it was interesting data to see, like, oh, I thought this would be higher on this side because of going faster, but no, it was lower. So that maybe that could be it too. If you look into it, that maybe, slower people have higher, because who are these people hurt?
Right. It's not usually the guys that are winning.
Right. So I think that becomes some of it, that going slow may actually, which is always my advocate, go faster. It's like I keep telling people, go faster. Did they study about? Is there information on gymnasts, tennis players?
They didn't have gymnasts or tennis players. The next one I had is football.
Yeah. I would be interested to see what the shoulder injury rate for tennis players is, what the knee injury rate for ankle, because they do a lot of stopping, sliding around,
They do.
sudden, because they're reacting. So no telling what position they may be sliding. Next thing you know, oh, the ball's coming back already. So I got this reaction, and they just pull it off.
Right. Well, I'll have to look that up actually. I can do a little recap on it for next episode. So for the football guys, they've got 5.95 out of 100 for knee, 4.44 out of 100 for ankle, and 3.45 out of 100 for concussion.
Yeah.
This is pretty low risk for.
Yeah, for collisions.
Yeah, big collisions.
But the injury guys out there telling you, I could prevent 3%.
Right.
And so this is the funny thing. Once again, this is the funny thing. They're gonna prevent 3%.
Right.
And they sell them to the people that's not even gonna be in the 3%.
So there's a big part of this too, right? Like, because they're starting. I used to go to a sports performance gym, and I would see these young athletes, starting in middle school,
right,
in there for injury prevention programs.
Yeah.
And performance enhancement, but part of it was injury prevention. And how many of those are actually going to make it to even play college?
Well, it's not only that. It's what. Let's look at high school sports, high school football. And even where you have these large numbers. I mean, you got to think about it. There's only 28, 32 NFL teams.
Right. Yeah, 20, something like that.
28 basketball teams, how many college, but let's look at the high school level. High school has hundreds and hundreds of athletes playing these sports.
Yeah.
And so that you would think they would study that data, to say, hey, but once again, if you got 1 million people playing a sport and 3% get hurt, the numbers are not, but they got you convinced that it's like everybody's getting hurt.
Right. Well, and even with the general population numbers, okay, so we've got 36%. That seems like a lot. But then again, when you break it down and you look at it, a large proportion of those are over the age of 65. So maybe what we should be doing is focusing on getting those people to move more, giving them more access to,
Well, even that there, it's funny. I'm still gonna say they need to move faster, but I was walking by a pickleball court the other day, and I'm looking at the size of it, and I'm like, you don't have to move to play this game.
Although it's super funny. So I know people who play pickleball, and the amount of younger people that end up with knee injuries from pickleball is shocking to me.
Yeah, because you're not really, you kind of just, but I think that's the certain jerks is the problem.
Yeah.
Because you're really confined in a space. At this point in time, you look at the space you're confined in; it's really small, and so you got jerk movements happening to stay within the confines of the space. And they have funny, like one thing about like ping pong. What's funny about ping pong? They're not confined by space.
No, they use they'll use way behind the table, and
and I think that helps them out a lot because they're not confined. They don't have walls confining them. They don't have a court confining them. Only thing you got is this table. And I can move. I can go on that side and hit the ball. If I knew how to hit a wicked curveball shot, a boomerang shot, I can go on his side, hit it back, and let it cross the net. You're not confined. I think and like other sports, they need to study that. Like badminton, same thing, high velocity sport.
Right.
When them guys play, but once again, they're not confined, and that may be something to look at. confinement.
Well, because not confine, it seems, and I could be mistaken, but it seems like if you don't confine people to a space, the rotations are going to be more complete, won't they?
Well, I think also too, you can go faster.
Yes.
I think when you're not confined to a space, you have the ability to go faster versus
Right.
herk and jerk movements.
Right.
Even within, you take, even like a soccer field is larger than a football field.
Right.
But you're trying to go faster. But I think that becomes some of it too, is that you got these herk and jerk movements and stuff that may be the issue. As I try to, even like in soccer, what do? They can run out of bounds as long as the ball stay in bounds.
Right.
Football, you can't go out of bounds. Basketball, you can't go out of bounds, come back in. So I think that may be some of the issues is confinement, as we try to contort to stay within the confines of this area, which is why I say with tennis, it would be interesting. But tennis is not confined either, because you can slide off the court. You don't have to, so I think it would look at more like, what are the confinement issues? Baseball's confined. You got the fence, you got the wall, you got, you're confined to these areas and stuff like that. So I think that'd be a better issue to look at is how does confinement, factor in injuries.
That would be interesting. And it would change things, it seems.
Yeah. Because you look at even like, hand volleyball, not hand volleyball, but you look at some of the sports they're playing now, like watching the guys play, soccer volleyball in a sense, where they're not playing with their hands, they're playing with their feet. Right. They gotta leave the ground, fall back down to the ground, So it's falling the issue? I don't think falling is the issue.
It doesn't seem to be. From what I've observed, a lot of, especially high level athletes, they understand how to fall, to extend the collision, to do all the things that we've talked about. So it doesn't seem like that's as big of a factor as you might think, Right.
So it's like, So I think, but once again, I'm still trying to figure out why these people come out and say they can prevent these injuries.
Well, and I've got some doozies. So some marketing strategies. So I looked up, first of all, exercises for low back pain, and I turned up 359 million results on Google.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there saying they've got the exercise cure for your low back pain.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So some of the marketing strategies I found, and I just went to a couple of websites of systems I'm familiar with, is one person says, say goodbye to chronic pain with name of the system, your path to lasting relief.
Yeah.
This is your path. We also have the more mobile a person is, the more they are able to maximize their movement potential safely, efficiently, and effectively. The system also acts to bulletproof or safeguard your joints so that movement can be executed safely, as though movement is not executed safely on a regular basis.
Right. And but once again, like usually when you sprain an ankle because you stepped on somebody else's foot.
Right.
And how do you prevent that? Or you stepped in a rabbit hole. How do you prevent that?
Right.
Because if you saw it, you wouldn't step in it.
Yeah.
So it's those type of things that you go, or when somebody's arm goes out, whatever the case may be, and we don't know, like I said, we don't know the full history of activity.
Right.
Like I could have been arm wrestling last night and then I throw my arm out today.
Yeah.
But you never knew I was arm wrestling.
Right.
But the mechanics, and I like when they show you a picture, they show you a still frame.
Yes.
They show you a still frame and say, look, this is bad. Like, what is bad?
And you don't know where someone is going or where they've come from with a still frame.
Yeah. You have no idea what happened before and after, anything like that, That's like, but once again, I think too, like I said, before about, when I hurt my ligament at my pelvis pubis bone, and it's like, I kind of know how I hurt it, but I also learned what it did.
Right.
And even like the other day, I was doing some stuff and I realized that, like with jumper's knee, it isn't the landing that's hard. It isn't the landing, it's the takeoff.
Okay.
It's more the takeoff is the issue more than the landing, But then you look at people like gymnasts or ballerinas who hyperextend on takeoff,
Right.
And everything. But what they don't do is, why can they get away with it? Because the upper body isn't leaving the system. That joint isn't getting stretched out. It's getting tight, but the upper body isn't pulling away as it's stuck on the ground.
So in other words, the upper body's not expanding, right?
Right.
It's staying
Right.
compressed with the rest of that. Okay.
Right. So you have to look at some things like that and everything, just the different jump dynamics of these different things. It's like, why? How can you lock out your knee like that and that can hurt?
Right.
But then somebody else has jumper knee. So when did the and if you look at their landings, look at gymnasts and ballerinas, they land on one leg, knees are, so you have to look at other factors in there. But once again, to show a picture and say, this is why this is going to cause an injury. Like, what are you talking? And people say, okay, yeah. Now, and it was funny, like, and the people saying, yeah, don't even throw.
Right.
The people that are saying, yeah, don't run, don't throw, don't jump, don't do anything. It's the people on the sidelines that are saying, yeah.
It's true.
Because I don't think the buying population of injuries is large enough to sustain the industry.
Well, although the way they talk, you think that it might be. I don't know.
3% is enough to sustain an industry. It's got to be other people you're selling to.
But that's what happens, right? So what happens is these programs come out. My observation, again, I've been in the industry a long time. These programs come out that are targeted towards athletes.
And I haven't. I'm just saying.
You have, but I work with general population. You work with athletes, so we've got this. So what happens is these programs come out targeting an athlete's problem. Here is how I'm going to bulletproof your joints, for instance, that system in particular. So
go to the other ones too about prepare your tissues. I'm going to prepare your tissues.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. So this is for athletes, but then like general population, people that train general population or work with general population, they're like, well, maybe this will help my clients too. So then suddenly those people start kind of latching onto these ideas. And then you have 359 million Google results for exercises for pain.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Yeah. That people, like I said, are buying into this and they're not in it, and I think we just saw some recent reports too where injuries are going up with all this prevention stuff.
I know, that's been nuts to look at some of that data that's coming out.
And nobody's calling these guys out like, well, how come injuries are going up if you're doing such a great job?
Right.
It's like the psychic hotline again. You didn't know I was calling? You should be, as soon as you pick up the phone, you should be telling me every day, hey, Mr. Barr, how you doing today? I know the dog died last week, Did
your dog die last week?
No.
Okay.
That's the point.
They don't know. Funny. They don't know.
So yeah, but like I said, they got these guys, like I said, as soon as these guys get hurt, especially somebody famous get hurt. Oh, I told you, bad mechanics. And once again, these elite athletes, how can we apply general pop movement pattern to elite athletes?
And vice versa. How can we apply elite athlete movement patterns to a general population person?
Well, you can go that way because we know, like anything else, we know this is high level. If they can do this at a high level and sustain this, then how can we do apply this to general pop? But we've been going the other way. We take general pop stuff and apply it like you said, if you used to running at 10 miles an hour and you're trying to prevent somebody from getting hurt just running at 40 miles an hour, but I've ran at 40. That's like driving, You can't drive a car at 10 miles an hour, tell somebody to take a curve at 80 miles an hour.
Right.
But I can tell you at 80 miles an hour, hey, this is a 10-mile curve. This is how you might want to. We go on the road. Yeah, at the high level they should be. It's like, yeah, we can learn from them. But the other way around, nah. But once again, you have to figure out like even like you say, jumping around. People like that's one of the popular programs now is landing mechanics.
Oh,
and
right.
You see these professionals do what? Land on one leg, two legs, land on the toe. Yeah. They do all kinds of crazy stuff, But why? First of all, they're moving fast. Second of all, they're not worried about the fall.
Yes.
Now you take general pop, and what do we tell general pop? Slow down.
Well, and everything, I shouldn't say everything. A lot of what's taught with general population is how to control everything. So you're trying to control every aspect of the movement.
Yeah.
Which isn't real life,
No. And now I'm slowing down and I want to control everything. That's it.
Right.
So now that's a person driving 10 miles an hour in the fast lane. talking about go
Yeah.
around me.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's all. Yeah, I never understood. Like I said, how do people come out and just claim I can prevent this, and you don't know nothing about this person, don't know what they've been doing. You know, could have got stung by a bee, and the injury is the tendon breaking down because it was allergic to the bee sting.
Right.
Who knows? Who
Or
knows?
they could have had a really crappy night's worth of sleep, and
Right.
you
Who
know,
knows? Who knows?
yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was watching this show. And it was funny. They was talking about how they got these guys on their knees, you know, and they got them on their knees forever. And the guy comes in and he's trying to shake them up. He says, you know why they keep people on their knees like this? And he said, because there's no blood circulating to the lower limb. So if you get up and try to run, you'll fall.
Mm.
So how many people have done something where there's no blood circulating to this part of the,
Right.
and then you get up and move, and next thing you know, tweak something.
I have a client who sat on the plane from London and woke up the next morning with a little bit of sciatica. And I was watching her move, and I'm like, well, you're not bending your knee at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were in a weird position, like you're saying, blood flow not going to the area.
Yeah. I think even like when I fly or when I'm in a car or something like that, the best thing I found out to do is keep your feet moving to keep blood pumping back up the system.
Yeah.
So yeah, I even saw somebody they can prevent varicose veins. I'm thinking like, what?
So funny.
Like how you gonna prevent varicose veins? Like, but and when they get a description of varicose veins, you go, that's not it though.
Right.
They're going to strengthen the valves. Like, how you going to strengthen that valve? How? You don't even have access to that thing. How you going to?
Right.
Veins and arteries are not the same.
No. Now, do you think, though, that understanding how to complete rotations, that's beneficial for people? I guess it would enhance performance, right?
Well, I think it's the whole thing. Complete rotations take away the herk and jerk.
Right.
And you have a natural deceleration pattern.
Right.
So you have these natural deceleration patterns. You take away the herk and jerk, and I think that's a lot of what's happening is you get the herky jerky stuff. And you get these violent decelerations.
Right.
Just like we know up leg down leg stuff, that the down leg is better for deceleration. Yeah. Then you got to try people trying to decelerate on up leg and down leg. Well, that one doesn't really like to do that.
Right.
Or you go with T and P stuff. If you want to slow down, stop the P from happening.
Right.
Because the T just collapse, but the P makes you go.
Right.
So if you stop the P from happening, you'll stop much easier than trying to stop your heat, heels, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of it comes, like I said, comes into, what are we teaching athletes as we try to make them better, and then you get General Pop just trying to do these things to become better because everybody told General Pop, the athletes, no, you're not, you're General Pop.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out there, whatever, you go out there, and we used to call them weekend warriors.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can you da-da-da, and then you go play softball on the weekends, or you go play flag football on the weekends. You go about your business. You don't do anything in between, and then they used to get hurt. Did they get hurt because they didn't do anything, or did they get hurt because they tried a herk and jerk movement?
Right.
Which is the body says, we're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Even like on warming up, you can only go as fast as the system's ready to go.
Yes.
And if something happens, we forget too, like how hormones come in. Why all of a sudden, if you scare me at nighttime, I go from 0 to 60 just like that. Because as soon as you scare me, what happened? Hormones kick in, this kick in, this kick in, this kick in. All these systems kick in to get you to do what you need to do.
Right.
And so if you look at athletes, what do they have? They probably have a lot of this hormonal things going on, as they're waiting in the outfield for the ball to come, kind of excited, da-da-da. So I do these things, Or what do I see? Once again, I hit the ball and I'm trying to, get to third base. So I got this hormones kicking in. Well, I'm excited because as a fielder, I'm like, oh, you're not going to make that. So I got these hormones to kick in to allow me to do this performance thing without hurting myself.
Right.
GP's trying to perform without the hormones.
It's true, because a lot of fitness settings aren't that exciting.
No.
So the alertness isn't there, and the arousal isn't there to optimize performance.
Right. Even some is lifting away,
Yeah.
But that's what you see in the higher end gyms too, with the big guys. They hyped.
Oh yeah.
They're aroused. So that helps out, when you're trying to push this kind of weight and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you're in a quiet setting, you're trying to push heavy,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a lot of the state of what keeps, some folks is the arousal. That would be interesting too. Is play arousal music, not arousal that way, but arousal and alert.
They've started to play with that a little bit. There's actually like a researcher that's found the tempo
Yeah.
that's the beat of the music that optimizes performance levels.
Yeah.
Super interesting, I thought.
Yeah. Like I said, I tried that in my master's program, but technology was bad.
Right.
Technology, computers. At that point in time, if you have 500 megabytes in a computer for memory, you was doing something.
That's what happens
And
when you go to graduate school in the 1990s.
Yeah. Oh, now you're cracking jokes about. Now you got more jokes. Okay, she got jokes. She got jokes today. Talk about she been there for a long time. Like I just started this yesterday.
Ah,
So, but I think for people, they need to once again, what environment are you in? Just like
right.
What do we know about getting shot by a gun? Well, most likely getting shot by a gun. Who gets shot by guns? People that own guns.
Right.
So if you don't own a gun, that decreases your odds already of being shot, killed by a gun. What's the next fact? People that you know. So if the people that you know around you don't have guns, that decreases that factor again. Yeah. And then what's the next thing we know? Bad neighborhoods. So it's relatively easy to say, hey, it's not foolproof.
Right.
I can't guarantee, but my odds.
Yeah.
So now we go back to the other side. Are these guys saying the odds are going to improve? Are you not getting hurt? I don't think that's the case either.
That does not seem to be the verbiage they're using.
And the difference between those two situations is I know that owning a gun, that's a fact. Owning a gun, chances are if there are guns in the household, somebody might get shot by that gun.
Yeah.
They don't know why. Once again, we know why these people are getting shot. We know why we know why. We can track it to this here. We don't know why people are getting hurt. Big difference again.
Yeah.
So it's hard to avoid anything, prevent anything when you don't know why in the first place. That's a bad neighborhood. You might get robbed if you go in that neighborhood. So stay out of it.
Totally.
That's like me and my phobia about being robbed. If I go into 7-Eleven, too many people get in line, I leave. If I go into the bank and it's a long line, I leave. I'm like, somebody here might be a bank robber today. I'm out. Is that foolproof? Not even close. Is that preventive? Not even close.
But it makes you feel better, which I guess we could say that too. Like if some of these programs, like if some of these like protocols make someone feel better, that's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah. Now if you can now we can give you a little bit more confidence, play at a higher level. Okay. And once again, placebo effect, whatever works.
Right.
If you believe, eating a bag of Tabasco sauce will help you play better, than eat it.
Totally. I've always been of that mindset.
Yeah. If it ain't gonna kill you, do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, so once again, people, if you want to buy these programs, buy them. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
But when you get hurt, then what are you gonna do?
Right.
Then what are you gonna do? So yeah, it's always crazy. But I like I said, I don't know how, like I said, slick marketing campaigns. We're gonna put words in there. That like I said, guarantee. Like, and I said, if you're training so you don't get hurt. That's part of increasing your skill level so you don't get hurt.
Totally.
So yeah, that's all I got though.
All right.
Did you have any more?
No, that was kind of where I was hoping that would go. That was good. We have some things coming up though, right?
Yeah, we got the book club coming up.
Got a book club. So if you read Let Me Introduce You, or you want to read Let Me Introduce You, you can join us.
And it's on Tuesday nights, right?
Tuesday mornings.
Tuesday mornings. See, I wanted to see. Tuesday mornings. Make sure I'm there.
Tuesday mornings. So
we got Las Vegas coming up. We got Las Vegas coming up.
Yeah. So you can
January
see
12th
us.
and 13th.
Yep. See us in action along with 3 other amazing practitioners.
Is it 3 now?
I think so. Dawn, Chris, and Matt, and then you and I.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there's 5 of us total.
Did we increase the numbers?
Like, I think I know who's going.
Yeah,
and then there's rumors we're going to be in Europe.
No, that's not a rumor. I'm buying a ticket. Ain't no rumors. We're in Europe in April sometime. The dates are not
In April.
confirmed yet, but April sometime we're gonna be in Europe. Yes.
Yes. So come check us out if you want. Yeah. Again,
And we got
wanna
the
see
running
us in
book coming
person?
out. We got the running book coming out.
we've got the running book coming out. There will be more details on that soon, hopefully.
Yes.
All right. Until next week.
Have fun.
All right. Thanks.